So that's how he starts the review for this movie is, oh, the dog died, but not a big deal. They just got another dog. Or 6 to be precise.
Dueling decades.
Anyhow, we're on the last round. We only got movies left, and I'm gonna, since I won this one, I'm gonna defer. I'm gonna give this one to Chuck.
Ooh,
thank
Chucky
you.
starting
All
us
right.
off.
Look,
I'm going to start it off with
Oh,
thank you, buddy. See, I got to show you, guys. My shirt too is kind of a thing today with the of course the GPKs. But this will be a good lead-in for my movie choice. The movie I chose is infamously bad. An incarnation of the beloved novelty wax pack sticker cards that originated in the early 80s. And of course, like most popular things, it turned into a movie or a TV show. Start that over. Of course, like most popular things, it gets turned into a movie or a TV show at some point, marketing. Further hyped by earlier in the month, another retro icon hit the big screen, Masters of the Universe, featuring the film Masters of the Universe film starring Dolph Lundgren as the toy cartoon hero He-Man in this live-action adaptation, pulled in $17 million. But this other movie that came out a few weeks later, we speak of, did 1.6 million gross, and pun intended there. It did this on a cool $1 million budget that likely went straight into the costumes of the main protagonists of this shit show, who were essentially little people, midgets, in animatronic puppet heads that barely operated correctly during principal photography. Think TMNT 1990, but without the Henson Muppet magic. Directed by Rod Amatow, hope I said that right, I don't want to offend him, who was mainly doing TV, or rather TV movies like High School USA with Michael J. Fox. Let's just say after this movie, he never directed again. True. This film also starred Mackenzie Astin, famous for his recent success on TV's Facts of Life, and also being the son of Gomez Adams. John Astin didn't hurt. In his film debut as Dodger, the down on his luck Dodger. Veteran actor of Broadway stage, Anthony Newley as Captain Mancini in his first screen role in 20 years, portraying a retired magician who owns an antique store that Dodger lives and works in. Very strange. He couldn't save this trash either, nor could Katie Barbary, who was known for Kids Incorporated and played Dodger's crush Tangerine, still on one of the funniest names I've ever heard of a character in a movie, who is dating a guy who kicks Dodger's ass named Juice throughout the whole movie. I can't even make this shit up. Tangerine and Juice. I could go on about the plot, and I use the plot title lightly because I'll cite good old Chicago Tribune again from my sweet home Chicago. Monday, August 24th, 1987, the weekend after this shit show hit the screen, Tribune critic Johanna Steisman wrote, and I will read, the voices of the GP kids, even though they were looped separately, this movie employs fewer than a dozen sets and scenes, seems to move from set to set, not according to any organic logic, but the sort of rhythm one might expect from amateur night on a cruise ship. The acting is credible, but there are really no characters to portray. There is music, but nothing hummable. That's true. This grade school humor, sure, but could argue that it is healthy for children to have it validated on film. Unfortunately, with the poor production values and crowded plot, the kids come out like cardboard, just like their prototypes. What's left is unappetizing entertainment. Anyone who finds themselves under pressure to take a child to see Garbage Pail Kids the movie would do well to tell the kid, see the movie? No thanks, I've chewed the gum. So I was going to choose in this House 2, which I should have really chose that, but it was released in the same month as the Garbage Pail Kids movie, released August 22nd, 1987, in my top worst 3 films of all time. We can do anything by working with each other. That's all I learned from that. That movie has haunted me my whole life, and I am a Garbage Pail fan, obviously, but that movie, I don't know, there's a love-hate thing with it, I think, with a lot of people, but mostly hate.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's pretty shit.
It's horrid.
Terrible.
They are frightening, though. All the Garbage Pail Kids are fucking
the fact
frightening.
that they malfunctioned, like I mentioned during production, they left that in there, obviously. I mean, you could actually watch, I pinpointed scenes where the eyes will go crazy and one eye's going nuts while the other one, and they're talking. It's real effed up.
That actually happened to Yoda on the set when they were filming Yoda.
Right, yeah, exactly. But, that's Henson. I mean, this shouldn't even be put in the same conversation with this shit show.
The shots where Yoda's like drifting off and dying and his eyes are kind of wandering. That was actually just the suit malfunction.
Unfortunately, the Garbage Pail Kids weren't dying. They were just speaking and rolling. From heads are going crazy.
Who was the one with the fucking boils all over its face?
That was
Ned.
Nat Nerd.
Oh God, that was
He would piss himself every other scene.
that was like the most disgusting character in a movie ever.
Ridiculous.
Worst part of the whole movie.
Oh man.
Alligator was pretty sweet though.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yeah, I mean, and nothing can top an alligator with a lunchbox full of body parts. I mean, that definitely wasn't. That's 1987 for you, though. Us kids. That's obviously why we're here today. We all grew up on that kind of thing. So, and Garbage Pail Kids movie is infamously bad, and yeah. I've never done them. Surprisingly, I've never done an episode or covered that on my podcast yet. I was going to, and I just haven't done it yet. And I think I should one day, because I could probably throw a whole show about that one movie.
Well, it's pretty fitting that you got that for your last.
Yeah,
selection.
I was very happy because I looked and saw that Masters of the Universe was not far behind it, but yeah, I got to go with GPK, obviously.
Alrighty. All right, guys. So I'll go next. For my movie selection, with football starting up soon and the NFL's already in preseason, this one kind of just seemed fitting. So released August 14th, 1998, I give you Air Bud, Golden Receiver. It's the unnecessary sequel in the story of a golden retriever who can play football. So unlike its predecessor, Air Bud, Golden Receiver, was a box office failure. It received negative reviews nationwide, and it grossed just over $10 million off an $11 million budget. So, in a perfect worst of episode review, a review in the Dallas Morning News starts off. First, the sad news for all the Air Bud fans. Buddy, the hoop shooting pooch, died of cancer the day the sequel started shooting. Moment of silence, but not to fear. Apparently, athletic golden retrievers aren't so rare. So that's how he starts the review for this movie is, the dog died, but not a big deal. They just got another dog. Or 6 to be precise. Then a reviewer in the Courier Post out of Camden, New Jersey said, the problem with Air Bud, the problem with the Air Bud sequel is simple. Too many people, not enough dog. Buddy, the basketball-playing canine, has been nudged to the sidelines of his new picture. The heart of the movie is a sentimental story about a boy who misses his late father and resents the potential stepdad. There is a painfully broad comic relief with a couple of Russian villains thrown in, but poor Buddy, he kind of drifts throughout the movie like an afterthought. In fact, the whole thing feels like an afterthought. Then a reviewer in the San Francisco Examiner, he closes his review by saying, family pictures don't have to be this way. Matilda and Babe, those are just 2 instances of movie that treat audience members as they have intelligence. Air Bud Golden Receiver, It's not even in the same league. So I give you Air Bud, Golden Receiver, a franchise that should have died with the dog. August 14th, 1998.
I'm
Savage,
glad you brought
savage.
that up. I think like 2 years ago, I had the original Air Bud
Yeah.
when John Cross used to judge the episodes, and I think I won that round.
Yeah.
Never seen
Shockingly.
it.
This is
Never
not
watched
the
Air Bud.
Yeah,
But there
don't.
are quite a few sequels. There's,
Yeah, I know. I'm aware of that. And then they started going into MVP, the most valuable primate, and all those.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, they've really uncovered a lot of sports loopholes. Well, there's no rule that a dog can't play basketball.
Yeah, monkey playing hockey. That's plausible.
All right, Mancrush, let's throw it over to you to wrap up this game. What is your selection for the movies round?
All right, so let's go to August 9th, 1977. And boy, oh boy, I looked at August 1977. I scoured each and every newspaper for the month. Not every newspaper, but every day for the month. And I was damn disappointed. Honestly, it is a perfect month for the worst stuff because just about every movie that was released sucked. Even if we were doing a best of, I would have had Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown, and the Kentucky Fried Movie. The rest of the movies for that month, total turds. So, and I would consider those movies kind of like midline. I probably couldn't have won a round with either one of those, most likely. And I don't think this is a subjective thing. They either blew or they just weren't worth talking about. So for that reason alone, I should totally win this round. But alas, like I said, I scoured until I found something that I could bring to the table. So I offer you a little motion picture by legendary director Radley Metzger called Barbara Broadcast. And just for the people listening, I watched this movie the other night because that's what I do. Let me give you a little description first from the back of the box for Barbara Broadcast. In an elegant restaurant where gourmet food and gourmet sex are both on the menu, former high-class prostitute and acclaimed author Barbara Broadcast transforms lunch with journalist CJ Lang into an afternoon of sexual excess. Barbara seduces her way through a corporate office and a busy Manhattan nightclub, while Lang ventures into the kitchen for a smoldering encounter with Wade Nichols that just may be the greatest sex scene ever filmed. It's not. Climaxing with the return of Misty Beethoven, Constance Money, and her tormentor, Jamie Gillis. Bon appetit. With that said, if you're in the mood for 5-course meals, waiters who deliver their own special salad dressing, a side of bondage, boning on the buffet table, fanboys, chocolate Von Cox, getting to see how soup is really made, the over-the-top origin story, and I said that correct, disco and arm wrestling. It really happened. And the theme song to People's Court, then go and grab yourself a copy of Barbara Broadcast. Or not. But that's what I give you. Oh, and yes, by all means, this is Triple X.
Wow. Broadcasting and women with questionable morals. Sign me up.
Yeah, sounds like my wheelhouse.
But
It was
let's see what-
released on Blu-ray a couple years ago. I don't know if it was Vinegar Syndrome. Somebody, like one of those companies, did it. So you can you actually find a fantastic copy.
Probably don't want to see that one in 4K.
And the waiters really do deliver their own special dressing to the salad, to the table. This happens.
Wow.
Table side.
Yep.
Let's throw it over to Joe Finley for his final verdict on this game.
All right. We're gonna talk to Mark at Airbud Golden Receiver. This made me laugh very hard because I remember when this movie came out, and they were like, "Yeah, did you know a dog can play football?" And my first thought was like, "No, it fucking can't." Like, it's like at the very least that the basketball, he's like nosing it. He's like pass it off and he knows it's something's happening. I was like, "There's he can't." He can't, like it's a silly hill to die on, but no, the dog can't play football. Can't do it. So that's
Unless
that.
he was on defense.
Yeah,
You
No,
bite
for-
the shit out of somebody.
fair.
For this one, all the
You just took
football
the wind out of
scenes-
my argument.
All the football scenes in this one are just Air Bud catching like a semi-deflated football, kind of like how a dog would catch a frisbee.
It's like a fucking Nerf.
Yeah.
Well, as a Patriots fan, I can get behind that. So
It's a Whistler from the 90s.
yeah, so I mean that one's something. Barber broadcast. Mancrush is always the one to bring us the X-rated movies to this thing.
Hey, sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you have to. The 70s is a really interesting decade for when you're doing especially the movies round, because you usually fall through a bunch of like crap nobody's ever heard of, but then every now and again you get a Jaws or a Star Wars that will like it's just like a death button. It's just like, I'm just gonna hold on to this and then I'm going to say Star Wars and the other two people automatically so it's just a tough break. It's Barber broadcast. Like, I've never heard of it, but I definitely want to see it. That's
I'm gonna look it up now. I'm looking it up.
Actually, what's funny is somebody recut it and put it on YouTube in a G-rated version.
Oh God.
It's 9 minutes long.
So you have to watch. If you do watch it back to back because it's fucking hilarious to see how we cut everything out.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's the Snyder cut porn.
Yeah.
Except
But
shorter.
Shorter.
Yeah.
And 16 by 9.
Yes. Yeah, fair. And Garbage Pail Kids. Oh my God, this is one that we did cover on Miscast Commentary. Learned a lot about it that I didn't know before, but it was really a horror show. We usually don't rewatch a movie like before prior to seeing it, and like we go at it with as fresh of eyes as we can get, and it was like just witnessing a murder, man. Like, oh my God. But just a few things I did learn from that. Arturo Gill, who played Windy Winston in the little suit, you know him as Station from from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Yeah, Bogus Journey. Yep.
He was also one of the dinks in Spaceballs, but that is also true of every little person actor that you found in the 80s.
He's very famous, though. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then Greaser Greg was voiced by none other than Winnie the Pooh himself, Jim Cummings.
Jim Cummings.
Really?
Yep.
So
Yeah,
it's
Jim Cummings was also in Barber Broadcast, I think.
Oh, hey. Got a
except the
crossover
S
going.
moved to the end of Jim.
I think Jim, just a Jim that came, was in the movie.
No,
Yes.
I left this out of mine. Did you hear about what they were going to do, Joe, with the original? I guess there's a rumor that they were going to have a different director, not this Artamo, this TV producer guy. They were going to have a different guy that was more of a, he was on Friday the 13th and Troll. And he was going to make it more of a horror. He wanted to make it more of a horror thing where they were mutated with doll parts and like murdered people. And I was like, well, that would have been a lot better than what we got. Time for a reboot or something. Jeez.
Yeah,
If
I don't know what they were
reboot
thinking.
anything. God.
I don't know what they were thinking with this. Like, Garbage Pail Kids should have gone out into something else, but like it should have been some kind of like animated thing. Like today's day and age, it would have been an easy like throw that on Adult Swim, have a silly little thing, and that'd be the end
They're
of it.
supposedly making a new one for, I think it's at HBO Max got the rights to it, and Topps is going to do this, an animated. I don't know if it's going to be a movie or a series, but I'm waiting on that one. That they do that right, it'll be wonderful.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see that, but good news for you, Chucky. You just tied this game up in the last round because Garbage Pail Kids is where it's at for the best of the worst.
Yeah.
All right, so this one's all tied up, like Joe said. So we're going to go to a wild card round between Mancrush and Chucky to decide who wins this game. All right, Mancrush, you're going to be up first in the wild card round. What you got, man?
All right, so let's do a little news. Let's go to August 20th, 1977. I'll keep this one short. We got convicted Nazi war criminal Herbert Kapler. This is a guy that ordered the killings of 335 people. He's apparently, by his wife, stuffed into a large. This guy was dying of like terminal like colon cancer or some shit. She stuffed him into a suitcase and dragged him out of like the holding that he was in and he escapes from the Rome hospital and reportedly made his way all the way to West Germany and got away.
Wow. He was found years later in the suburbs of Chicago in a polka band.
Polka, polka, polka.
Polka, close to where Gacy buried the bodies. And
Right.
I just like the entire story I didn't give a shit about, but the fact that they packed like a human being into, and they call it a suitcase, but it was probably like a trunk or some shit like that, because who the fuck can fit into a suitcase? But the dude was dying, and she put him in this thing and got him out of the hospital. What kind of shit news is that?
That's not great.
No.
Well, he was a Nazi, so
Yeah.
fuck him.
It's the truth.
Yeah, but he escaped.
No sympathy for stuffing Nazis in suitcases.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it sucks he escaped. Fuck that guy.
I gotta go find him.
Yeah, you go do that, Joe.
This is 1977.
Oh no, he's out there.
He's long dead.
He's out there.
All right, Chucky, what did you bring for the wild card round?
well, kind of scrapping here because I did not expect this. Very unexpected to go into sudden death, but I had to dig in. I'll take one of my second choices that I was going to talk about, which was found in the Streeter, Illinois Press, Times Press, in 1987. Hollywood reported that Eddie Murphy was in talks with Hanna-Barbera to voice a cartoon. I'm not sure if this was going to be an Eddie Murphy cartoon because there wasn't much on there, like a Gary Coleman or Mr. T cartoon with Eddie Murphy, because he was fresh off of Beverly Hills Cop 2 at this time. And Adventures of Eddie Murphy. I don't.
Fuck you, Eddie.
Yeah, really. I mean, what kind of Hanna-Barbera would that be? But that was all I found on it, was that he was in talks in 1987 to do a project with Hanna-Barbera. I did find in 2011, fast forward to like 20 years, Variety and MTV.com were reporting that he was going to do a version, I'm not sure if it was film or movie version, of Hong Kong Phooey, and he was going to voice Hong Kong Phooey. And that's the only thing I can think of, is it was connected to this 1987, when they started talking about it or, planning it, and it didn't surface until 2011. And guess what? We never got a Hong Kong Phooey movie, did we? Because I had never heard, I never heard anything after that. So, but yeah, with the popularity, I guess in 2011 with the Yogi Bear and all those movies that they were, putting out, Hanna-Barbera had a lot of movie projects that they wanted to do. And apparently, yeah, that was one of them. They were going to take Eddie Murphy, and in 2011, I think he was really popular with doing Donkey and another couple other voices or something that he was doing. And yeah, they probably wanted to do a Hong Kong Phooey. I can imagine it would have been a movie kind of like Yogi Bear.
We're 9.
I know. Me and Mancrush. All I can do is very popular for doing a donkey.
That was in Barber Broadcast. It was third season.
Hey, wasn't Eddie Murphy with the that old scandal back in
Yeah.
the transvestite prostitute? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so you never know. You just never know. So yeah,
I
Eddie
got
Murphy
an
apparently
ice cream, and you ain't got me.
All right, Joe Finley.
I know Kung Fu.
All right, Joe Finley, it's up to you, man. What is your final verdict on this game?
Well, I mean, this probably isn't that hard of a choice for me. I mean, the Eddie Murphy thing's cool, but it's kind of like it's not an incomplete story. It's not like you didn't do your research. It's just that nothing really happened.
No.
And the other one, I'm somebody who works for the History Channel in Canada, and Nazis are kind of our jam. So, so I got to go with Mancrush on this one.
Great. Now the transcript's gonna read Nazis are our jam.
Whoops.
Great.
Okay, let's make sure what I actually said is not seeds in our jam, please.
There
No
you go.
seeds in our jam.
Yeah.
Seeds, yeah. Yep.
Oh man.
Well, you could see why I
Mancrush.
went with that one. That that choice was. It's okay. It's okay.
Congratulations, Mancrush. You pick up yet another victory.
I think that might be 3 in a row. I think I'm on a streak.
Oof.
And I am
What we
banned
call
from the
a
show
winning
from here on out. me and Mike Ranger are gonna be hanging out, talking about licking our wounds and.
I don't know. We'll see what happens with Mike Ranger. We don't know. I talked to him earlier this evening. He might be back, but we don't know because he's suspended.
Find out in a future
We'll have to
episode.
find out.
All right, duelers. Well, unfortunately, I think we're going to have to end this episode right here. But before we do, let's toss it over to our judge for this episode, Mr. Joe Finley, so he can tell us what's going on Miscast Commentary.
As always, we're doing a lot of fun stuff. As this episode comes out, we will have just finished our summer of sequels, where we finished that off with with a commentary of Terminator 2, and we're getting into some comedies now. We almost accidentally picked more sequels just moving forward, but yeah, we got some fun comedies coming out, and we're doing all that. And as always, check out the YouTube page for both that and my own YouTube page, which is Miscast Joe, which is just all tutorials and stuff. You see a lot of behind the scenes and stuff like this and how I do it. So there you go.
And Chucky, why don't you tell everybody where people can find your podcast?
Well, my podcast is available everywhere except for iTunes, I think. Unless iTunes grabbed it and put it up for me, I think I'm on everywhere else. YouTube, I upload new episodes every other month. I also upload commercials and stuff that I grab off of VHS, a lot of old retro stuff, mixes and stuff I put together. You can find it anywhere podcasts are available. I just did a new episode where we covered Leonard Part 6, which is another, we're talking about bad movies here. I also have a YouTube puppet show that's in association with my a movie I did back in 2011 called Showman's Unrest, which is a horror comedy, real low budget, shot on VHS type of thing. And I did a couple episodes of this puppet show. That's on my other YouTube, but that's outside of the podcast world. I thank you guys for having me on. It's been a real fun experience, and hopefully you could do it again sometime. It'd be great.
Dude,
Awesome.
thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
that
man.
was fun.
Yeah, I'm always getting into something. You can get me on Instagram, Werewolf of Berwyn. But Garbage Pail Flicks is FLIX with an X. Garbage Pail Flicks VHS or Garbage Pail Flicks. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, duelers. Well, thanks for spending some time with us. We'll see you next time. So until next time, we're going to bid you a peace, love, light, and a joy. Have a grateful week, everyone.